What's up everyone, Kara Corey here. I am back to show you how to make today some warm apple crisp cookies. And you know the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and that is not far from the truth. Apples are a great source of nutrition. Not only do they provide you fiber in the form of pectin, but that pectin is actually a prebiotic that helps to feed that good bacteria that's in your gut. And I'm all about the gut health right now. If you guys don't know much about gut health, I encourage you to go to tigerfitness.com's website. In their content section, I have a great article on gut health and why you should care about it. So if you're gonna need to get in some good nutrition, you might as well do it in the form of cookies, you know what I'm saying? So with apples, they're also a great source of vitamin C, and they have polyphenols in them, which are plant compounds, and those are really what give us a lot of the nutrition, you know, antioxidant properties thought to help with cancer prevention, heart health, you name it. So apples are great to incorporate in your diet. So for today's video with making our apple crisp cookies, we're gonna start with preheating your oven to 350 degrees. And I've got a old ass cookie sheet right here that I've already sprayed with some nonstick spray that we're gonna set aside. And we're gonna go ahead and first mix all our dry ingredients. So the first thing for these cookies I'm gonna use are some 100% organic whole wheat flour. And I'm gonna do a half cup of that, already measured out. We're gonna dump that in the bowl. And now for our protein in these cookies, I am choosing today to use the birthday cake whey, but Mark also does make a warm apple crisp protein, so you guys could use that. I just already ran out of it. But we're gonna do 1.5 scoops. So you could use, you know, some type of vanilla-y flavor. If you have vanilla, that would be really good too, but I'm almost out of that. 1.5 scoops of your protein powder. We've got the flour in there. The next dry ingredient is gonna be some oats. So what I would recommend using is just regular whole oats. I actually ran out of those, so I'm gonna use 2 packets of the apple and cinnamon oatmeal, but nutritionals are just gonna be with regular oats. Totally up to you how you wanna do it, but using the apples and cinnamon oatmeal packets is gonna make it a little bit higher in carbs, but that's all good. So we've got those in there. Next thing we're gonna add for dry ingredients is gonna be some baking powder. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of that. And for my next seasonings, I'm actually not gonna measure them because I don't have time for that, but you guys could add like a teaspoon of each of these. I'm gonna add some organic Saigon cinnamon. This stuff is very tasty. So we're just gonna do, you know, that amount of that. Ground allspice. And again, I'm just going to do a couple little shakes in there. This is gonna make it nice and spicy. And then I'm also gonna use some ground nutmeg. I believe they also make apple pie spice too. So if you have that, that'd be very tasty in these cookies. Don't worry too much if you don't have the seasonings, but it does add that extra like level of flavor in the cookies. And lastly, for dry ingredients, yes, pink Himalayan sea salt. We're gonna do a couple cranks of that in there. I'm just gonna whip this around real quick. And then we're gonna mix up our wet ingredients in a separate bowl. So we've mixed up our dry ingredients, set that aside. For our wet ingredients, the first thing you're gonna need is 1 whole egg. I've got that already measured out in my bowl. And the next thing we're gonna add is some type of sweetener. So you guys can use honey, use agave. I'm gonna use syrup, and I'm choosing to use sugar-free syrup. I'm going to measure out 1/2 cup of that, and I'm going to dump that right into my whole egg. Next thing I have measured out here is some coconut oil. I've got 2 tablespoons of this, or 14 grams, in a little bowl right here that I already heated up, so you can't really see it because it's clear, but I'm going, nope, wrong bowl. See, you really can't see it. 2 tablespoons in this one, and I'm gonna dump that in my bowl for a little bit of a fat source with the egg yolk. You gotta have some kind of fat in these cookies for them to stick together. And the last wet ingredient here is gonna be the pure vanilla extract. I am gonna measure that out because I tend to go a little crazy with it if not. 1 teaspoon of that into our bowl, and then using a fork, I'm just gonna go ahead and whip that all up. So once you've got all the wet ingredients whipped up together, we're gonna go ahead and just pour those I'm gonna pour half of it in, start mixing it into our wet ingredients. And just keep stirring that up until we get our nice cookie batter here. Smells so good. It smells like fall and cinnamon. The last thing, which I already did so I didn't have to bore you with it, is I took a large Pink Lady or Honey Crisp apple. I like the sweetness of those. And I just chopped it up finely into little teeny tiny shreds. You guys could grate it up. You could leave it in big chunks, whatever you like. So this is a whole apple. I'm gonna add the full thing in there to get all those benefits. I noticed I got a little bit of my syrup still in my measuring cup and I wanna use all that. And now we're just gonna go ahead one more time and mix this all up. Once you've got the batter all mixed in, what I suggest you do if you have the time is to put it in the fridge for like 20 to 30 minutes just to let it chill, let the flavors absorb, and it'll kind of help thicken up the batter just a little bit. It's not imperative though, so with time being a constraint for myself, I'm just gonna go ahead and start laying it out on my sprayed cookie sheet using a tablespoon. And you guys can make these as big as you want. I'm gonna kind of do a heaping-ish tablespoon and go ahead and start placing those on my pan. And you can make them as big or as small as you want. I kind of want to make them a little bit bigger, so I might actually go through and make those a little bit bigger. All right guys, so I put these into 12 cookies and I'm gonna put them in the oven 350 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. So I'll see you when they're all done. All right, 8 minutes in the oven and our cookies came out perfect. I like them with just like a little bit of like crisp to the bottom, but where they're still soft to the touch. So these are gonna be a softer cookie, which I prefer. I'm going to leave them on my wire rack to cool for a little bit, but these are a pretty good sized cookie, pretty dense, and these are under 100 calories, about 13 grams of carbs, 5 grams of protein, and only a couple grams of fat. So you can't go wrong with these macros. I think you guys are gonna love these cookies this fall. Give them a try, and we will see you in the next video.